active listening. So when you're with your potential customers, what is it that you're actually listening for? We all know listening is important. Lots of people talk about active listening. It's so important to listen, and so many of us don't do it. But when we are practicing our ability to listen, what is it that we're actually listening for with our potential customers? There are 3 levels that I want you to be aware of when you're asking questions, you're having your dialogue. There are 3 levels that you're listening for. And as you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and you listen for these things, and you help your customers explain these 3 things, they're going to convince themselves why they need what you're offering. So the first thing you're listening for is outer logical problems and needs. These are facts. For example, a customer might say, yeah, I want to save money on the electric bill. My electric bill's high. I want to lower it. Cool. That's a very logical thing to do, would be to lower the electric bill, right? So that's layer 1. Then level 2, interpersonal logical problems and needs. So not just like an outside circumstance, that's a fact, but an inside circumstance, that is a fact, right? If they were to lower the electric bill, what would that mean for them? Logically, not emotionally, logically. So if they were to lower the electric bill, that might mean, okay, well, I have more money now to spend on my family. Cool. An interpersonal logical fact. That's a problem or a need. The third layer deep is the interpersonal, unique, subjective, or emotional needs and values. Now, that was a mouthful of words. The important words here are it's personal and unique to them, and it's subjective. Every person has their own personal reasons for behaving the way that they do. They have their own unique, subjective inner experiences, values, beliefs, and realities, and the way that they see the world. So they lower the electric bill. It allows them to spend more money on things that are important to them. But how would that make them feel? And everyone's going to have a different answer, right? Some people are going to say, wow, that would just take such a huge burden. I just would feel so relieved. Or some people would feel stoked and excited. Or some people would feel avoiding the pain is what's exciting. Whatever it is, right? It's like, how would that affect you personally, though? Being able to lower the electric bill, have more money to spend on things that are important to you. What are the feelings that are associated with doing those things, or spending money on those things? These 3 layers, right? They're basically fact, an outer fact, an inner fact, and then an emotional feeling that's connected to those facts. When you can help your potential customers actually voice and say these things, these 3 layers, they're going to end up convincing themselves why it's important for them to solve their problems, make a change, and do it with you. So how do we listen in a way that will help us and our prospects explain these 3 layers so that we can actually understand their problems, how it's affecting them, and how solving those problems would help them? So in the last video, we talked about having an effective intention, right? A desire to help, detachment, and preparation. When those 3 things are aligned, you can be fully present and listen to your customers, right? You're not concerned about yourself. You're not thinking about what you're going to say next. And it's funny, right? Because it's like, okay, well, if I'm not thinking about what I'm going to say next, how am I going to know what to say? The first answer is preparation. You're going to have practiced enough and done enough reps that it really happens automatically. But also, how are you going to know what to say if you don't listen to them? They will tell you what to say. They will tell you what's important to them. They will tell you what they want. They will tell you why they want it. How are you going to ask them about what they want and why they want it and how it's affecting them, and actually go deeper on that if you're not listening to what they're saying? You really only run into the issue of not knowing what to say next when you're focusing on what you want to say next instead of what will help them, what they are saying, and what you could say that would help them the most based off of what they're telling you. I really learned this principle from Jeremy Miner and even his mentor, Michael Oliver, dude. It's amazing how little I used to listen. Even now, I catch myself not listening, making assumptions, and trying to talk more when really I should just be listening more and asking more questions. They all talk about listen to what is being meant as well as what's being said. We're going to dive into this a little later, but a lot of people, they'll say one thing, but they mean another thing. And why do they do that? Well, they're trying to communicate the best they can. I don't think a lot of people do it intentionally, but when you assume that you understand what they mean rather than asking and letting them explain it, you'll find that you often assume incorrectly. It's just how it's amazing. And I'll give examples of this in our assumptions video that I'm going to break down. So check this out though. So Michael Oliver's 8 rules for effective listening. I found these really insightful. And I think they're really great principles to follow so you can be present and focused on them. 1, listen with the intent to understand and not to reply. So many salespeople listen selectively. They only hear what they want to hear so that they can say what they want to say. No, actually listen to understand where your potential customer is coming from. 2, be present. 3, be acknowledging. 4, use verbal pauses. 5, be silent. Be comfortable with silence. Because if you can be comfortable with silence, you'll often get deeper information than you would have otherwise. 6, be accepting. You don't have to agree with someone to listen. So let go of your assumptions, your prejudices, your beliefs, and making judgments. This is another Deepak Chopra dude. He said, judging someone doesn't change the person. All it does is demonstrate your need to judge. Let it go. 7, be curious. Even if you know the answer to a question, consider putting your knowledge and comments to the side. Instead, ask more questions to better understand. Number 8, reflect their feelings. Let them know that you hear the emotions behind what they're saying. And if you don't, ask and find out what they are. And you'll find that a lot of the friction that comes from sales starts to disappear when your focus is on them and not on you.